Thank you, brother Jason. Yarrow, great to see you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy other holidays if you celebrate them. And I have a really interesting story. So there is a California psychedelics ballot measure that could undermine marijuana taxes, possibly, according to some state officials. California Legislative Analyst Office released its review this week of a prospective ballot initiative to legalize psychedelics, outlining not only the plan's policy implications, but also its potential fiscal impacts on the state, which the report calls various and uncertain. The measure, which proponents submitted the final language for earlier this month, would allow adults to legally grow, possess, and use substances like psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, DMT, ibogaine, and mescaline. And who doesn't want to grow an MDMA tree for Christmas? A person would need a healthcare practitioner's recommendation to purchase psychedelics at a regulated store. As filed, the so-called Psychedelic Wellness and Healing Initiative of 2024 refers to entheogenic plants and substances, and it includes cannabis among them. The approach said the LAO said could cost hundreds of millions of dollars in potential tax revenue in the following way. Apparently, cannabis companies could shift from the existing legal cannabis market to a new market created by the measure. It could result in the net reduction of hundreds of millions of dollars in cannabis tax-related revenue. However, the LAO said if there's not such a shift, measure would then result in a net increase in tax revenue of millions of dollars. So basically what could happen is if a number of large cannabis businesses choose to become entheogenic businesses, and this measure is legally interpreted and implemented in a way that continues to require the current level of regulation for these businesses while limiting the regulatory fees agencies can charge, to the extent these revenues would all of a sudden not become sufficient to fully support the costs of regulating the business. And the thing we go at it, I'm fucking high, bro. But basically, cannabis businesses, it's changed to entheogenic businesses. Entheogenic businesses are covered under this law. And entheogenic businesses, the government's ability to tax them is severely restricted. So we could literally have recreational cannabis and entheogenic cannabis and a whole nother lane to just continue confusing this entire reality even more.
Are you telling me? Are you telling me that my cannabis company should identify as an entheogenic company?
If you grow good weed, you should, bro. If you grow that weed that gets people high for real, yes.
Oh boy.
Now, Jay and Yarrow, here are some of the other changes that are going to be made under this proposed Psychedelic Wellness and Healing Initiative. Get ready. Simple use and possession of psychedelics at a person's home would be declared lawful. Fuck yes. This change would apply to all hallucinogenic substances as identified under California law. The list that includes DMT, woohoo, ibogaine, LSD, mescaline, psilocybin, psilocin, and MDMA. Adults could possess as much entheogenic substances as is needed for one's own annual personal use. And boy, some of us use a lot of them annually. Cultivation on private property of psychedelic plants and fungi would be legal, provided it's done out of public view and with consent of the owner. Beginning on January 1st, 2025, any entheogenic business could begin cultivation, manufacture, or wholesale distribution of psychedelics, provided it operates on land zoned for commercial ag and approved by the CDFA. Beginning on that same time, any incorporated business in California with a seller's permit would begin sales of psychedelic products to qualified patients or their designated caregivers. It just goes on and on and on with really cool things that could happen if this bill passes. So again, if you're in California and you're watching the High at 9 news, go and get active. Tell your friends, write your congresspersons and senators, write Gavin Newsom. Let's create an avalanche of support for this and help cannabis companies get out from under the yoke of all these ridiculous taxes, but also help all of us to pursue the freedom of our own consciousness in our homes in peace in California. What do you guys think, Yarrow and Jason?
What is this initiative going to be called? Does it have a name yet?
Psychedelic Wellness and Healing Initiative, my friend.
Psychedelic Wellness and Healing Initiative. Oh, man, I think I would vote yes for this. I'm going to vote yes.
It's not going to be up for a California vote, so the way we can influence the vote is to write and call our congresspeople and senators and Gavin Newsom.
So then it wouldn't necessarily be a ballot initiative. This is be a bill that would be introduced into the General Assembly is what you're telling me.
Correct, yeah.
I have some thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Go for it, y'all.
First of all, the cost of standing up regulated production facilities for cannabis has been incredibly burdensome, and to provide an option or optionality to allow those expensive facilities to tap into the emerging psychedelic markets, I think is a business-friendly approach, and I welcome that. There is an argument that because of what's happened, at least here in California, certainly we have maybe some more production facilities than we need for regulated cannabis, whether that's extraction, manufacturing, and/or cultivation. And so if some of those could be repurposed, I like that a lot. I think it's business friendly. Secondly, the parent in me goes, well, wait a second. If you're growing those plants in your backyard, my kid could get hurt. But you know what? Here's the truth. There are so many toxic plants out there right now that are being grown as ornamentals that that's actually a false argument. And there are a lot of dangerous plants out there that are just, people are planting them as oh, look at the pretty flowers. And so I think this is a big step in the right direction. And I'm not exactly sure how much of the manufacturing infrastructure would cross over for certain production, for certain products. But to create that flexibility, I think would be huge.
They would, according to the bill, have to be grown out of public view. So you couldn't grow them in your front yard. You couldn't grow them in your living room.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but mushrooms are short. Mushrooms are short, so as long as you had a fence, that necessarily wouldn't be in public view.
That's
true.
And the truth is, no matter where you plant it, I could see it all with my third eye.
Oh man, that was cute. You know what? We're gonna keep the train moving. We're gonna roll right into a commercial, and we're gonna be right back.